This is timing, with truth talk with timing. Trump was indicted. Yeah! Justice will be served. No one is above the law. No one. As I may be master in arms, I'm proud of that. I'm proud to see justice being served. That is going to be the subject of this Truth Talk with Timing. First, I'm going to get to some other political and life issues. See, I'm doing this video in my walker. I have a TBI that causes me to be light-headed, and I get my balance is more often than it was before. So the VA got me this walker. I've been using this for a little while now, about maybe a little over a month, maybe longer. So keep me in your prayers for healing. I'm at physical therapy now. I was there yesterday, and the sore on my arm is really gotten worse. And it still hasn't been removed, and it's been months and months. I've been trying to get this removed with a very, very bad VA system here out of El Paso, Texas. I swear, the West has the worst VA systems in the world, in the nation, particularly the one out of El Paso, Texas. Pray for my hometown, for my mom, for the hurricane victims, the tornado victims in Mississippi and Arkansas, and mass devastation everywhere. Has to do with the climate change, the global warming, and unusual weather patterns, stronger and stronger hurricanes, stronger and stronger tornadoes. Things have to be done, and thankfully Biden did enact one of the biggest climate programs, I would want to say, in any president in history. Let's talk about my hometown. Apparently there was people back in Moline farm. They lost some of the wolves, like at the Belgrade Tavern across from an elementary school. What is a town by an elementary school? I never have understood that even when I was a kid. But now it's actually a senior living center. But the tavern lost its roof. The church that I used to go to, Bethel Wesley Church, lost its roof, part of its roof. So that ain't, at least buildings didn't collapse, thank God. Just some roofs lost. Not like it is in Mississippi or Arkansas, in those areas, like I said. So we got to keep all those people in our prayers. Yeah. And that's what's going on. And now the video. escape from last video, I'm going to paraphrase what I talked about last time. The mass shootings, equality. Since then, we've had several more mass shootings. A private school in Tennessee. I just don't understand it. Why the GOP, to me, is more concerned about banning books like I have behind me on my bookshelf. Books like Grapes of Wrath, of Mice and Men, Diane Van Frank, a book itself about book burning. Yes, they're trying to ban books, but they're not a book about book burning. Fahrenheit 451. The Great Read by Toni Morrison. I mean, those are great reads. I mean, I don't understand what the Florida governor is doing. I mean, he's making the United States go backwards like a third world country. I mean, they say they're about us and they're about our freedoms and everything else, yet they're taking away our freedoms, you know. They're passing laws to take away rights of the LGBTQ community and trying to ban drag shows. You might not have to agree with those people's lifestyle, but it's not up to us to judge those people. It's up to the Lord thy God to judge those people. I mean, let those people live their own lifestyle. They have every right to be here on earth than we do. So why are we taking away people's rights? That's not what America is about. So they're more concerned about doing that stuff instead of enacting gun reform. In fact, mass shootings have been skyrocketing since 2004, when the assault ban was lifted. Remember, this really started back in 1986. I'm not going to go talk about my entire gun control and all the mass shootings like I did on the other did on my other videos. But I am going to talk about like Ronald Reagan, who was a Republican that I respected, and even he was against assault weapons. I mean, that was when the initial ban actually started after he got shot in 1986. First he enacted the Brady gun bill, and then a buyback program, getting sentiment guns, and then an assault weapons ban. Then in 1994, Senator Biden pushed to reenact the ban from 1994 to 2004 for 10 years. Now that they got lifted, what do we got? We got hate crimes on the rise. We got more and more and more mass shootings. Sales of AR-15 style assault weapons are on the rise. Even here in my state, New Mexico, I live now, they sell silencers. And they sell extended banana clips. I don't understand it. I mean, shouldn't those type of people that want to buy that stuff be flagged and questioned? I mean, because those type of things for mass killing. I was in the military. I served. I was in combat. I mean, those are military-style weapons, and they belong in the military. They belong on SWAT teams. They don't belong in the hands of civilians. And then some of scientists and stuff like that too. I mean, come on, people. It's an act for common sense gun reform. Common sense gun reform. Let's get, I mean, yes, some things were passed. And Biden is pushing to get some things, more things done. But let us reenact the assault weapons ban. Let us ban ghost guns. Take the guns out of the hands of criminals. Make it harder for them to obtain weapons, and close gun show loopholes. Government common sense gun reforms. That's what we want. I'm not a responsible gun owner. I'm a gun owner. All right. But if I threaten to go kill people or whatnot, I don't expect to be fired like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what we want. We just want common sense thought. So that's paraphrased on some stuff that should be done. I mean, call your congressmen and senators, like I said in my other videos, and let's get this common sense thing done, and let's stop this book ban. I mean, call the governor of Florida, and if you're in Florida, I feel sorry for you guys that's in Florida. What, you know? Kids should be allowed to read. People should be allowed to read what we want. I mean, geez, this don't make any sense. Some of them put the ban on plastics. All right, there. That's enough of that one. The indictment of Donald J. Trump. If you're on top of the news, you probably heard it on MSNBC. Thankfully, the shows that were on never got interrupted by Trump's lies and propaganda and rhetoric speech. If you want to follow that junk, get on his so-called Truth Social. I call it the Untruth Social because it's nothing but a monotony of his rhetoric and lies. Trump was so good at lying that sadly there's millions of people that like to follow his lies. What can I say, you know? I mean, Trump's indictment on April 4th, 2023, he was arraigned about an hour behind. He was trying to do his delay tactics that he's good at doing, you know. And it's not all about the hush monies. If it was, it was just nothing but a misdemeanor. Would have been 3 misdemeanor crimes actually. Yes, there was two other hush money payments. During that one meeting on the Trump Tower before Trump became president, he was doing cover-ups to try to protect himself for things getting out that he didn't want to get out. And so he paid a $30,000 payment to his doorman, and then he he paid $150,000 payment to Karen McDougal, a Playboy Playmate. And then, of course, we all know about the $130,000 hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. Those are crimes, and you can go to prison for those crimes. Even though they in itself are misdemeanor, you go to prison for those crimes. I mean, his fixer at that time, Michael Cohen, went to jail for the same crimes, for the hush money payment. So those who are saying, "Oh, this is a political witch hunt," that's BS. Because why would other people go to prison and jail for the same crimes? Right. But the hush monies is not the real crime, okay? The real crime is the cover-ups and business fraud that he committed. He was charged with 34 Class E felonies. 34 Class E felonies. Many conspiracies and cover-ups and business fraud practices. Because if you watch Alvin Bragg's interview, he broke it all down. I'm not gonna break down everything that he said about every count and all that stuff. I'm not a lawyer or a criminal defense attorney or a prosecutor, but I was in law enforcement for the military. I was a Navy Master at Arms, and that's what I said at the beginning of the video. As a Navy Master at Arms, makes you proud that justice is served, because I saw, even in the military, people trying to get away with things, higher ups, commanders or whatnot, trying to get away with things, trying to cover up things that enlisted men would get in trouble for, and it even happens in the military. And Trump, a former president, twice impeached, disgraced a former president. Twice impeached. Think about that, okay? For his lies, his fraud, and on all these things on the first impeachment, and then for his rhetoric that caused the January 6th insurrection, for the second impeachment. He's a disgrace. He should never hold any power in office again. Trump had a 2016 scheme to influence the election. That was what the meeting of the Trump Tower was about, okay? He pleaded not guilty, but anybody that has any common sense, and I for one have common sense, know that he's guilty. I mean, he's been a criminal his entire life. He's been covering up things his entire life. Unethical business practices, not paying his workers, treating people badly. I just, the list can just go on. And yes, even though Russian conclusion per se was not found in that report. The Mueller report, sorry. There was, if you read the first part of the Mueller report, you're going to find 10 things 10 crimes listed that Trump did, right? But he was a president at the time, so Mueller had his hands tied. He couldn't say, well, yeah, you have to arrest this guy. Too bad you can't arrest a sitting president. I mean, if you could, you should have been arrested right then. Really. Soon there will be indictments, of course, in Georgia for election fraud, for him asking for 11,780 votes, trying to get somebody else to break the law, which I have his book behind me. Brad Rasmusberger, trying to get him to break the law. I mean, he tries to get all these people to do his dirty work so he doesn't get his hands caught dirty, but I'm telling you, his hands are dirty. I mean, and then of course, for the January 6th, being investigated by Jack Smith for the January 6th insurrection and all of his crimes. All right, the camera cut off. Let's see, what was I talking about? I don't know exactly what cut off at. But I was talking about let me say this. We are a democracy. People are going to say, no, we're not a democracy. We're not a democratic nation. Yes, actually we are. Even though this nation was founded as a constitutional republic, and we do have to follow our constitutional laws, it is the democracy that actually keeps our nation in check. If you watch my video that I did before, as a republic will we fall, that's on this channel as well. I talked about how this republic, when the founding fathers founded it, they were well versed in mob law and the mob mentality. And so when the republic was founded, it was actually founded on that mob mentality. When we actually started becoming a democracy, and with the voting rights and the equal rights and the social justice rights, and that's what kept our nation in check. If we lose a democracy, then a nation's sadly going to fall. I mean, look what some of these people are already trying to do. Look what, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, what the Florida governor is trying to do. You know, banning these books and stuff. You know, taking away some of our freedoms and our rights. That's not acting in accordance with a democracy. That's acting in accordance with a monolithic republic. Like he thinks he's like the king of Florida. I mean, we can't have this nation ran that way, because we are a nation of laws, and for a democracy to work, no one can be above the law. Even Nixon was not above the law. He stated that. He goes, no one is above the law. Nixon said that. All right? And Nixon would have been arrested for his crimes if he was not pardoned by Ford. So, and by the way, his vice president was arrested for the same type of crimes that he did just hours after he left office. So don't tell me that a president is above the law, because a president is not above the law. When an office say there's an unwritten rule that you cannot indict a sitting president. So he's not a sitting president. He's an ex-president. So yes, you can indict him. The state they came from, I'm in Mexico now, but the state they came from, Illinois, for the last 10 governors were arrested for crimes. Elected officials are arrested for crimes. Democratic nations that's out there, besides the United States, they hold their presidents accountable. Look what happened to one of the presidents in South Korea. They were arrested. In Italy, one of the presidents was held accountable for his crimes. I mean, so if other nations can follow the democratic laws, then we can too. And we can hold sitting president, after they leave the office, accountable for their crimes. And as a master of arms, I'm proud to see Trump being held accountable for his crimes. And that's my video. Comment, like, and subscribe. And remember, no one is above the law.